Alright, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy DaveB, and you're watching another episode of DaveBeyondTV, where we go beyond that everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And I know I probably look crazy. I got the do-rag on and all that, but like I had something on my heart, and I wanted to grab my camera and hit record, which is something I don't typically get to do. Usually I have a topic for a video and I have to wait hella long to get it out, but I'm transitioning into more of a serious content creator. I realize I realize there's a lot of things that I wasn't doing. It was like my whole life, right? I've kind of had the same dream at one point. Like when I got to, like in my early teenage years, right, I had a dream. It's like I had dreams of going for certain things, but it wasn't until I got to college that like I started getting real specific on what it is that I wanted, right? And as I sat there over the years, accumulating different knowledge and insights about what it is that I was going for, things have changed, you know, as they should. You know, your dream is going to transform, right? And your overall goal, or it might not, but like for me it did. It transformed a little bit, it tweaked itself. And right here, you know, this week I just been looking back on the past and shit and seeing like my old perception of going for my goals versus now. See, before it was like I was so nervous and doubtful about putting my shit in the world, because I swear that I know it's probably easier for some people to be like, I don't care what other people think about my shit, right? But like at the time I was terrified of that shit. Like now I've learned how to combat that, and that's kind of like what I'm talking about now. But like back then, like that shit used to terrify me. You know, first it was like the first layer was my parents, because I come from a home, and it's not that they don't, it's not that they like, you know, are exactly trying to oppose my shit. It's just I know that the shit that be on my mind, the shit that I talk about and the way I express myself, sometimes I just know it doesn't quite agree with how they see things, you know what I'm saying? So of course you have that, like that's the first layer. And so it kind of made me want to kind of sneak and do things and stuff like that, like sneak and explore shit on my own time. And then it became a thing where it's like, well, I'm nervous to even put this out in the world, because like what if people I know start looking at me a certain way? Like what if, you know, what if certain bridges get burnt by me expressing my true self? You know what I'm saying? Like these are the thoughts and shit like that used to terrify me and shit. And you know, it kind of carried on throughout college to the point where like I had a fulfilling college experience, but I realized today just like how long I've been kind of procrastinating on the big thing, which is putting my shit in the world, you know. And of course everything happens for a reason, so I kind of understand. And it's like I look back and I'm like, nah, I had to do certain shit, because had I just been so reckless, right? Or I don't want to say reckless, but had I just gone about things one way, I would have never accumulated the knowledge of other experiences. Like if I just put things out on the surface, I never would have took the time to be so particular with certain things in my art, you know what I'm saying? Being so bent on making sure my shit has some kind of message, and that message doesn't have to be political, but just nowadays when I create, I try to create out of a true space. I try to create out of something that's significant to me and my journey and shit like that, or just something that I've seen, an aspect of life that I've encountered from somebody else, you know, whatever it is. It's like I try to be somewhat meaningful in the way I create. But like, you know, this week I decided to do something a little different, and what I did was I was like, every day I'm gonna drop a song, right? So each and every day I picked a day and I just was like, I'm gonna drop a song today, right? Now this is during that week. I'm in Wednesday, and like the first day, you know, it was like tough, but I got it out there. and I was amazed at the responses. You know, a lot of people were like, yo, this is really good, this is really great. And like, I'm the type of person, I don't believe people. Like, I'd be like, nah, rip me apart. Like, I know there's gotta be something you don't like about it. But, you know, I guess somewhere in this like rambling, like, is a message just to say like, man, hey, don't self-sabotage. You know, because right now, even right now, like the second day I dropped, I didn't get as much traction, right? The numbers. And then today, still didn't even get, you know, I think I might have gotten less interactions with my shit. And like, this is not a rant saying like anything negative about that experience. It's just like, as I'm soaking in it and like learning from it, it's just like a message to say like, fuck the numbers, one. You know, fuck the numbers. Two, and it's easy to say fuck the numbers when you don't got the numbers, but like, this is just the message that I feel is like, let me make sure this shit recording. Okay, yeah, we good to go. I just gotta make sure. But you know, fuck the numbers. But it's like, it's easy to say fuck the numbers when you don't got a lot, but it's like, it's kind of like, we have to all have a little bit of faith, man, because without faith, you won't ever even get to see. Like, it's like, it's kind of like one of those things like, yeah, like the leap of faith, right? Had I not jumped from that ledge, I would have never seen anything that was like, because like when you're sitting on there on the ledge and looking down, I mean, you see everything, right? Or you think you see everything. You see shit, but you can't really make out certain things that's a little further down. But it's not until you jump off that ledge and you start like looking that you can start seeing things, and you start kind of getting a clear image of what you're actually jumping into, if that makes sense. And so it was almost like the message is something, it's somewhere in between that, where it's like, you know, take the dive, and when you're taking the dive, don't let what seems like it was like, don't let what's on the surface fuck up how you feel about yourself. You know, as spirits, you have to realize you are no thing. Like, and in that, not you are nothing, you are no particular thing, meaning you can be whatever you want to be. Everything, you are the creator at that point. You can create how you want to feel about shit. And like I always say, and how it really is, your vibes, your vibrations, how you feel about things, your moods, these manifest your reality. So a lot of times when we're manifesting, we jumping off the cliff, right? And we want to panic, and so we're mid-air panicking, wailing our arms, and oh my god, I'm gonna die. It's like at this moment I realized, like, okay, like I stopped everything. I'm like, hold on, before I start panicking and feeling like there ain't no point to this, let me start trying to create emotion and feelings that actually just see this as a learning process and part of the process, and start correlating my energy more to feeling like, okay, I just got to keep creating and do better. Like, okay, I just got to keep going, keep pushing. Like, I know this sounds like a lot of motivational shit, like, you know, that you hear in other motivational videos that just tell you, you know, saying like, you know, just feel better. But like I really hope y'all feel what I'm saying. Like, it's like every day is an uphill battle, so shit is gonna hit the fan, and you gotta know that, and you gotta spiritually protect yourself to make sure that you build the armor that can withstand the travel that you're trying to take. Because we all got dreams and goals, and it's true that sometimes our goals are bigger than we can even really experience in this lifetime. But you have to hit the spiritual gym. You have to make sure that you are spiritually weight training, because the spiritual weight training, that's just you making sure that you have the right thought forms and feelings that can allow you to travel to where you're trying to go. Like I said, it's like we building a spaceship, and if your spaceship, you stay everything that you try to go out for, you get too scared and you start, like I said, panicking and wailing and freaking out to where you don't even allow your spirit to get no strength. You stay a weak ass spirit, and if there's one thing that I can promise you is a weak spirit ain't really gonna be able to manifest a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be able to go far in their dreams or wherever they want to go. They're gonna be taken away, because it's like having a weak ass boat in the ocean. You just gonna get whisked away if a storm come. Cause like that's the thing. It's like life. Storms gonna come. It's raining outside right now. That's probably why I'm even in the vibration to make this video. It's raining outside right now. Storms gonna come. So you can't even allow. Don't allow yourself to count yourself out before you even get in the game. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. You gotta look at your spirit, and it's hard to look at our spirit because our spirit, like I said, is no thing. But you gotta start looking at the way you feel and the way you think, and you gotta start looking at these as spaceships and say, am I applying the right tools to my spaceship? Am I adding the right attachments to my spaceship, or am I using am I using plastic for my spaceship? Like, am I using the wrong shit? Am I putting plastic on my motherfucking outside of my spaceship, so as soon as you fucking take off, you can't even fucking get to the countdown? Cause nigga, by the time the engine starts, it done burnt off all the plastic. Like, am I building my spaceship with plastic, or am I building my spaceship with some motherfucking vibranium? I don't even know how to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. That shit that's in X-Men, and or it's either in X-Men and Wolverine's claws and shit, or it's the shit that Captain America's shield made of, or you know what I'm saying, whatever that is, that substance. Are you building your shit with that, or are you building your shit with some weak ass Fisher Price plastic? You know what I'm saying? Like, you really gotta ask yourself that. You know what I'm saying? I just had to check real quick, but yeah, like on some real shit. Like, so as I'm just looking at these experiences, it's just like, you know, a storm is gonna come, you know, rain gonna come, but you know, this is where you could almost look at it like, and don't get too lost in this, you could almost look at it like you are being tested, and what the universe wants to see is, can you withstand what you actually out there reaching for? Because like I said, we get influenced all day, every day, but if we don't create the right padding and the right, you know, material for our spaceship, aka our thoughts and feelings, if we can't create sufficient enough ones that can handle when the pressure comes, we will never be able to expand and experience more. We'll always be stuck in whatever we're afraid of. So like I said, I've had this dream of mine since, you know, it was clear when I got to college, but because I had procrastinated so long and actually just taking the leap and just going out there and getting my spaceship torn apart so that I could rebuild it, right? It took that much longer for me to get to point B. I'm still in the middle between point A, you know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, I'm speaking in metaphors and stuff like that, but you know, me doing this week kind of put my heart on the chopping block and was like, okay, you know, here we go, here goes nothing. But I'll be honest, even though, like I said, fuck the numbers, dude, I've never felt as free as I have. You know, as free, because it's like now I'm actually in the heat of what I've been trying to experience as far as my dream, and I have been trying to experience it from the sideline, but now I'm smack dab in the middle of the field, and it's like I've never felt more free, because it's like ain't nothing I'm holding back now. And I know that when I go to sleep at night, I put in the work. I put in the work. So only thing that's left to do is have faith and control my state of being. Make sure that my state of being remains prosperous. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Looking at things like, not, damn, ain't nobody seeing my shit, now I gotta go spam everybody in my list. Nah, it's more like, okay, you know, I put it out and it's out there in the world, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But all I know is that I gotta make my next song. And that goes along to my next point too, and I kind of want to expand on this this topic a little bit in a separate video. But you know, I've learned that as being an artist, you know, a lot of times we get obsessed with results, but you gotta say fuck results sometimes. Like, you know, sometimes, yeah, it's cool to look for a result, but like when you're an artist that creates because you love what you do, not just because you want to make money. If you're an artist that cares about what they do, you need to start looking at your process over the results, man. Fuck the results. Focus on your process, because see, we live in an age where everybody's creating content. Things are constantly popping up on Twitter, Instagram, things. People's attention spans, you hear it all the time. They're non-existent at this point. So what you have to realize is that, shit, you can't sit there and try to hone in on the result. You need to start loving your process. And when you love your process, the result matters none. You love just to do what you do. So naturally, two things are going to happen. Naturally, you're going to learn to master your craft and your style, just because you love to do what you do and you love in the process. So it's like a factory. Factories succeed and they change the game because they could create constantly. Constant production. When you're working with people, people burn out because people are focused on results. And it's not that people in the factories are focused on results. That's not the problem. But it's just like when you learn your process, I guess here's how it can apply. When you learn your process, it becomes second nature. So you ain't got to think about it. You ain't got to stress yourself out about it. So in theory, you do become a machine where you can just pump out work. And if you really do care about your craft and you really hone in on your process, the better you can tweak your technique, the better you will learn how to turn out more, better works, greater works in less time or more consistently. And that consistency is the key to building any kind of career. When you're focused on a result, that means that you might even hold yourself back for the sake of trying to make everything perfect. You might start getting afraid of putting out something that's mediocre. But see, it's like your process is all over the place. You don't have no consistent process. And that's the issue that I'm fixing now, and I'm starting to see now, is that when you're focused on a result, you're trying to pretty everything up and make everything pretty, and then you drop it and see if no one reacts to something that you try your hardest with. And like, I'm not telling people not to try their hardest when they're creating, but it's like if you put if you put so much of that heavy energy on that shit and it doesn't take off, that shit is gonna crush your motherfucking spirit, because when you put a lot of energy into something, it creates density. And that density, right, I'm speaking metaphysically, right, but this is some real shit. When you you hone in a lot of energy, when you think real hard about something, that shit creates density in higher dimensions, right, in the metaphysical world. So that density brings things down, and it also makes things slower. So it's good to, sometimes it's necessary to bring things down and make things slow. But if we're talking about you trying to be successful and you trying to manifest something, by you honing in on something and making time slow down, see, it's kind of like by the time you do release it, it might be too late. You know, it's like with our spirits, we need to create balance. So honing in on something and pulling it down in density is like it's like you having a heavy emotion and feeling about it. You thinking real hard about it. You're bringing it down and you're slowing it down, right? But when you're creating, like I said, if you go more with a process, you can choose when to do that, but you also need to release it and lighten your load up and feel a little lighter about it, so that it can even, so when you lighten things up, they start to move quicker and they can navigate a lot better. They can be a little more, you won't be so attached to it. And this is more advanced shit that I'm trying to kick, but I'm hoping that y'all can kind of keep up with what I'm trying to say. But when you're doing this with creative work, it's like your process, right? So like I said, if you hone it in everything and you make something so heavy and you take forever to create it and then you finally put it out in the world, right? And people don't respond to it, that could crush your spirit, because you feel so attached to it. It's like when you release something, you have to let it go. And that means lightening your emotions and feelings about it. It's out in the world now. So it's the world's now. As creators, I think that's another thing that we tend to get stuck on. We want to hold on to everything, and we want to attach ourselves to our work. But that is a one-way ticket, you know. And honestly, I mean, for some people, it might work that way. You know, you might be the type of artist that wants to get that engulfed into their work. And if you do, that's fine too. We can talk about that too, because there's a science to everything. Like I said, there's no wrong or right. Like, it's on you, depending on what kind of spirit you are. So if that's how you work, that's a whole different story. But I'm talking for the creators who are having a hard time with just fighting that barrier of trying to put things out in the world. It's like you want to express yourself. You have so many ideas, but you hone in on that shit so much to where it slows everything down. You gotta lighten yourself up a little bit and get a little more free. Like I said, this week when I just been releasing stuff, see, the more content you putting out in the world, the better you can. It's like if you put it out in the world and you keeping your mind to be light about it, to not take it so serious and say, hey, I'm just expressing myself at this point. Then you're able to kind of, you're able to move on to the next project and pump out the next one. And that's always what's important, because like I said, people's attention spans are so small. We got to keep creating. If you want to get anywhere in some kind of creative business, or you want to catch traction, it's like you have to find a way to create constantly, whether that's putting up videos, whether that's vlogging, whether that's making music, and this is not to say diminish the quality. Like I said, it's about the process. If you love your process and you hone in on your craft, it won't be no such thing as a bad project from you, But yeah, I just had to open up and share this video. Hopefully, okay, we good, man. Still recording, so. Yeah, but I just had to turn my camera on, and I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to learn how to be more, just take more initiative on my path and things of that nature, because I realize just how feasible these dreams of mine are, you know what I'm saying? And now, like I said, now that I'm releasing stuff and lightening my load a little bit, I can feel a little more optimistic, when I can feel a little more optimistic about what I'm going after, and I just wanted to share kind of something that I've been, realizing myself, during this time. But anyway, peace out, man. Much love. Hope everybody's doing good, and I'll see y'all in the next one.